Hi, I'm Alan McInally, ex-professional football player, and welcome to BetSafe's Premier League preview. Week 8, incredibly already, coming to you from the Etihad Stadium in BetSafe's brand new Players' Lounge box at the Etihad. With me as usual, my pal and partner in crime, Paul Dickov, ex-Manchester City and Arsenal striker. Now with a bit of luck, we're going to get you some money. We do trebles every week, we give you best prices on BetSafe, and we'll try and do our best to burst that sportsbook wallet that you have with BetSafe. How you doing, son?
I'm good, buddy.
Good,
Yourself?
good. Well, we're in the new box, which is very nice. And I'm just, listen, no pressure on BetSafe, but I'm sure there'll be a competition for you for this season, surely, to come and be in the new BetSafe box here at the Etihad.
Fantastic, innit? I think we'll be frequenting it for a few matches.
I think we might be in that competition if they actually ever do one. Let's get into it then. We hit the crossbar. We've had a couple of trebles up. The internationals last week were not great for Scotland, not great for England either, particularly, were they? But we'll get back into the Premier League preview. Let's start with your treble then right away. Your first one, Arsenal against Swansea. Swansea with a new manager, Bob Bradley.
Yeah, and it's a strange one for me, Bob Bradley. You know, very experienced manager, we all know that, but no experience in the Premier League.
No.
Which, when Swansea's struggling, sometimes you need a manager to come in who knows the league, knows the players. No doubt he's got knowledge of the players.
He's been in Europe, so he's seen a bit, but the problem is that first-hand working with the players, you're right, it's one that came out of left field for me with Bob Bradley.
It was, but you know, to be fair to the chairman there, Hugh Jenkins, he's obviously earmarked him before for the job and spoke to him throughout it, so he's obviously a manager he thinks can do it, but we're getting more and more, and it's a different subject, and it's not just because I've managed in a young British manager, but absolutely. We're getting more and more away. There's some fantastic young British coaches and managers here at the minute who deserve to get a chance, and they're not getting it at the minute. And that's nothing against Swansea or Bob Bradley, it's just my own opinion. Baptism
of fire a little bit. I've just sitting with a couple of notes here. We always have a bit of notes just to remind everybody. The Gunners going for a 6th consecutive win. They beat, it was a very late goal against Burnley, but I don't think you're taking a lot of chances with your first win in the treble.
No, I don't. I think Swansea are going to struggle. I think me and you said a few weeks ago at the very start of the season, losing Ashley Williams was massive for them on and off the pitch, and Arsenal going forward, Sanchez, Walcott's been on fire.
I know.
For Arsenal,
yeah, he didn't play particularly well tonight. And to be fair to him, though, and I'm his biggest critic because I expect him to be better, having been at Arsenal for the length of time he has been. And you're right. Well, I suppose if you're having a better first goal scorer, as long as he's on the team sheet, you might think about it.
Yeah, but Sanchez for me, there was question marks about playing him through the middle instead of Giroud. Yeah. But he's causing all sorts of problems scoring goals. But the biggest thing for me at Arsenal at the minute is they're not conceding. You know, I think Mustafi alongside Koscielny. They've needed a centre half to go in there and be dominant and a bit old school, head it, kick it. Mustafi can play a little bit, but for me that's why Arsenal are on this run they're on at the minute.
13-2 to win the Premier League still, Arsenal. Is it too big or is it just about right? Incidentally, I would imagine that would be best price bets.
At the minute that's about right. I think with the other clubs that are up there at the minute, but I've no doubt Arsenal, if they keep people fit, will be there challenging at the end.
Arsenal 3-11, not surprisingly, really odds on, draw 53-10. Swansea are about 10 or 11s. I'll probably get 12s on BetSafe, to be honest, by the time you see the team sheet. That's your first one. Second one is Bournemouth against Hull. You've gone for Bournemouth.
Yeah, I just think, look, I was here, it'll be 3-4 weeks ago now when Man City beat them 4-0. And watching that game, you would have worried for them, but City can do that to anybody. But since then, you know, they actually let me down in the treble the week afterwards when they beat Everton at home.
Yeah, they did.
Get a great point away at Watford.
I think that might be the secret, Paul, surely, to success. To a successful season is to their home games have to be, you know. Yeah,
and it's a difficult place to go and play down there. You know, the crowd's right on top of you. It's a tight pitch, and I think the last couple of games you've seen Jack Wilshere getting back to somewhere near his best, and if they can keep him in that sort of form, the other players around him are loving playing with him. You can tell that, and he's a top player. So Hull started the season brilliantly well, as we all said, but
still haven't confirmed the manager side of things, which is just dragging it. Apart from the fans wanting their team to do well, they must be like, any chance?
I think that's reflecting on the players now. The players came out weeks and weeks ago and said that they wanted Mick Phelan to get the job. You know, he's not getting them. That causes uncertainty all the way through, and that's reflected in the results.
Bournemouth 5-6, draw 5-2. Hull 39-10. Bournemouth 2-1 are about 36-5, so around that, so you get about 8s, maybe 7s, etc., etc. And I must admit, when we get to mine later on, I just think that the uncertainty around the Hull scenario, with it being an away game as well, I think Bournemouth might be a good bet at the weekend. So 5 to 6, best price bet safe, fingers crossed, is a good one. Your second one, this is such a tough game. Stoke against Sunderland, you've gone for the Potters.
I have. I just think the boost that they'll get from going to Old Trafford a couple of weeks ago,
big one,
getting the point, especially late on, they've needed to find something from somewhere, because the results have been poor. The performances have been okay, but they've not been picking up results. And going to Old Trafford, coming back from 1-0 down, getting the equaliser, being back at home as well, I fancy them. And Sunderland are, they're really struggling at the minute.
Talking about the uncertainty about Hull, every time I've seen Mark Hughes do an interview, he's always looked pretty calm about the whole thing, genuinely, hasn't he?
He is, and look, I was at Blackburn and played under Mark, and when Mark came in, we were bottom of the league, bottom of the Premier League. In the space of 18 months, he turned us round by...
I was bringing you in.
It was, of course. Comfortably avoided relegation. The following season we qualified for Europe, so he's had experiences like this before, and he's probably got better players at Stoke than what he had at Blackburn at that time, so he'll be more than confident.
For you that Stoke don't normally do. Stoke have conceded 16 goals, Sunderland only 13. The Stoke didn't concede hardly any, especially not at home.
At home, but look, 4 of them are against Tottenham, 4 of them are against Man City. And they have, look, if you include United in that, they've had a really, really tough start, Stoke. But I just feel that point could be a massive turnaround for them.
Stoke even money, draw 5 to 2, Sunderland 12 to 5, and you've gone for Stoke. Maybe not unsurprising. I mean, it's a game certainly they'll be thinking about winning. Can you make a case for Sunderland? I know you've gone for Stoke. It's a big result. I know they got, was it a draw against West Brom, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, but they're just struggling to score goals. That's going to be the biggest problem. If Jermaine Defoe's not scoring goals, you can't see where somebody else is going to chip in for them. So their best hope's going to be a point, but I really fancy Stoke in this one.
Okay, Paul's treble, Arsenal, Bournemouth and Stoke, and I've got it around 472. Of course, if you go on and you're watching us in BetSafe and you go on to the McInally and Dickov treble, the prices will be there for you. And remember, if you're a new customer and you're just watching this and you've seen our links on Twitter, etc., all over the place, then if you put a £10 bet on, you will receive £20 for free. So it's a no-brainer. And if you fancy Paul's treble, you'll get around 4s or 72. The McInally treble, on the other hand,
here you go.
I'm going to go Bournemouth as well. I know we've touched on Bournemouth. I like, you've made a good case for the whole shooting match. The Hull thing for me, the uncertainty and the result, that some of the results at Bournemouth and performances they've had have been pretty good so far. So I'm going to skip over that and say definitely I'm with you on the Bournemouth thing excuse me, all day long. The other one I've gone for is Palace against West Ham, and I've gone for Palace.
Big London derby, isn't it?
Huge. I think, listen, Palace have been better. I think there's more pressure on West Ham than there is on
Yeah, I agree. The only case I can put for West Ham is Payet coming into a bit of form again. The goal he scored was sensational a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it?
Brilliant.
But Palace at home, I think they look really strong. I do, and they've started the season well. The first couple of games performances were good, results weren't there. Recently they've picked up, they're scoring goals as well.
Yeah.
They've got...
Well, I'm going to say, I think you're right. I think you genuinely are right, and that's why I've gone for Palace. I think their performances at home have been stronger.
Yeah. And it's
without being looking as if we're definitely not going to lose at home.
Yeah, and I think West Ham being a little bit dodgy at the minute and a little bit fragile, I think the crowd down at Palace could really get on their backs as well.
If you're conceding goals, Palace is not a place to go and try and defend.
No, and Benteke's starting hitting a bit of form as well, exactly. Scoring goals. I like the look of Palace this year, I really do. Palace
23 to 20, draw 5 to 2. The Hammers are a big price actually, 15 to 5. That's a good big 3 to 1 for Palace, but I just do not fancy them at all, and they will be my second. My third one, and I think I've gone for Borough a couple of times, and they've let me down. I'm just convinced they're going to survive. Borough versus
Perseverance. Perseverance, big man. That's
well,
what
I'm telling you right now, if they don't beat Borough, if Borough don't beat Borough, will be the third one of my treble, incidentally. So I'm going to go Bournemouth, Palace, and Middlesbrough, and it's against Watford. Now I just hope that Deeney and Ighalo are quiet. Borough managed to win the game, and I'm sticking my neck out again, thinking your home form has to be like a Palace, a Bournemouth, etc., etc., etc.
And I've said it loads of times when we've done these that I like Borough this year. I think with Negredo up top gives them a real attacking threat. And you're absolutely bang on, big man, with Watford. If you keep Deeney and Ighalo quiet, you've got half a chance. So defensively, Borough are going to have to be bang on.
Well, the other thing, Borough have been relatively good defensively in terms of the two big centre halves.
Yeah.
Not really giving an awful lot away. That's only, and I'm looking for a bit of value. Borough 65, incidentally. The draw 23-10. Watford 13-5. If you're a Watford fan and you think I'm talking rubbish, you might think 13-5.
There's two teams that you can't call though, can you? The
another
results
one of them,
week to week, you're like,
Yeah.
you fancy Borough, they get beat after the back of a good result. Watford beat Man United, looked fantastic.
Yeah.
They know that they're both really inconsistent, but I think Borough at home will just give them that little edge.
Absolutely. Well, I've gone for Borough anyway, 65. And my treble's about 17-2, 8-1, which is Bournemouth, Palace and Borough. Remember, if you want a bet on that and you're a new customer, you put a tenner on, you get £20 free with the official betting partner of Man City here at the Etihad for our Premier League preview. It is, of course, on BetSafe. Right, there's a belter game. This is the game I'm doing for Sky TV actually on Saturday morning. Chelsea against Leicester. I'm going to pin you in a couple of things here, but go.
No, I'm just going to say we're talking about Borough and Watford, but inconsistent the results. Chelsea and Leicester have both been the exact same. Chelsea, you would think with Conte defensively really strong. They've looked poor.
Yeah.
They really have, and I know John Terry's been out, could possibly be back for the weekend. The David Luiz one for me, signing him as a centre half to play in a two, you're always going to concede goals because he's a car crash at times.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, and also the fact that John Terry may be back, because I still think he plays such an important part for Chelsea.
He's massive. He's a leader, which is few and far between at any football club at the minute. And you know, I think Conte, we've spoke loads and loads. We even spoke over the summer about it. His prefers systems, playing three at the back. Yeah. And I think if you're going to play David Luiz at the back, he has to be there with two centre halves helping him out, so he'll go walkabouts. And from Leicester's point of view, I think they'll be going there expecting to score goals.
Well, I was going to say, do you think it's good for Leicester that they're actually not at home? So not that they're not expected to win, but the fact they can maybe go score a goal and quieten Chelsea's home fans might be a big advantage for them.
Well, it was a recipe of their success last year.
Absolutely.
Going away from home, sitting in. I know they had Vardy and Mahrez, but I think Slimani now gives them a different option. You know, with just Vardy up there on his own, you're not going to put crosses in the box all the time. Defences against Vardy are going to defend deep, which is now giving Leicester the opportunity to put the ball in the box, because Slimani's fantastic in there.
I was going to say, first goal scorer would go Costa or Slimani's probably the two.
I think either
guys,
or, either or. And you know, when
that means there'll be a centre half then.
Probably, it'll probably be Luiz, David Luiz after me saying that. But it's a tough one to call. I think Leicester at the minute would take a point, but they'll be going there sneakily thinking that they can get the three.
I was good through all the markets that BetSafe give us, and I was looking at a no goal scorer one, but I think is that just an impossibility?
I think so.
What I'm thinking, will it be so tight that nobody takes a chance, or it would be like boom, we score?
No, I think for as brilliant as Leicester were defensively last year, that they've looked really vulnerable, and I think Chelsea have as well. I can see that being a score draw.
Well, in one of the big, not one of the big games, a lot of the games we give you a boosted price, and this one will be a triple chance. Chelsea against Leicester. Hazard, Slimani or Nemanja Matic to score the first goal. That will be a boosted price if you fancy a bet on the game. Manchester City versus Everton.
Well, you know what I'm going to say in this one,
well, I don't know, because, are you?
I think it's going to be a tough game because it's a tough one to call.
Exactly.
And it's like, you know, there's loads of different little things in here as well. You know,
Everton, let's talk about Man City's last game.
Tottenham were magnificent. I know City took a lot, right, big man.
Forget what I meant.
Yeah. City took a bit of stick after the game, but I don't think Tottenham got the credit they deserve for it. They were fantastic. And I was watching the game, and after about 35-40 minutes, I thought, there's no way Spurs can keep up the intensity that they're playing at, and they've done it all throughout the game. I actually thought City, look, I'm not one to, and I would never slag off Pep Guardiola, but I thought the selection was slightly wrong. Really? I thought it would have been with Kevin De Bruyne not playing, I thought it would have been a perfect game for Leroy Sané to start, and I was really surprised that he left Gundogan out and put Fernando in as well. I can understand why he done it. Yeah. But Gundogan's been getting a run of games under his belt, the team's been flying, and I just think that played into Tottenham's hands a little bit, going a little bit more defensive with Fernando. It's
a battle of two big managers as well, isn't it?
They know each other well.
Koeman's done well, is it 4 wins I think they've had out of 7?
Yeah, they have, but the last couple of games they've slipped up a little bit.
Yeah, they drew Palace?
Drew Palace and lost down at Bournemouth the week before. Let us both down, their trebles I think it did.
Exactly.
But it'll be interesting, you know. Ronald Koeman, I think if you read the reports and read things as well, he took Pep under his wing when he was playing at Barcelona as well.
Yeah.
So two managers who know each other really, really well. It'll be interesting how the Everton go about coming here. Do they look at the Tottenham game and go after City straight away, or do they sit back a little bit and look to hit them on the break with the pace of Lukaku and Balassi and people like that, you know? And it's going to be an interesting game, but I just feel that there's talk of Kevin De Bruyne possibly being back, although I think they might save him for the Champions League game the following week.
Possibly.
And City have got a point to prove after what happened at Tottenham as well.
Big time. City 7-15, so the odds on. Draw 15-4. Everton 59-10. So you're going to get around 6s, 5.5s probably on Everton if you think Everton can come here. One of the bets I was thinking was maybe like, I don't know, over 3 goals, over 4 goals or something. I've written down over 4.5, which is you're probably going to get about 3s.
I think there'll be goals. I think every game City play in, regardless of who they're playing against, I think there's going to be a lot of goals.
I just think if I was going to have a bet, I think the number of goals in the game might be one of the ones I might just sneak one, just because it's kind of always on your side, especially when you're expecting a few fireworks, between the teams and of course between the managers.
There isn't, not just with this fixture, I think with all of them after international break. I think they're tough games to call.
Oh, yeah,
you know, the
absolutely.
amount of travelling players do pick up little injuries.
For sure.
But obviously I'm going to go for City.
Okie dokie. Right, another small game. Liverpool against Manchester United. Liverpool going for the 5th consecutive win. Stoke got a draw at United not exactly. I mean, they're one of the ones that's looked forward to in the Premier Division, there's no question about that. But I'd be interested in your seriously to say, no, I think United can go there and win, or I think Liverpool are a certainty.
I don't think it's beyond United to go there and win. I just feel the form that Liverpool are in at the minute, and the way they're playing, not just with the ball, without the ball, they're squeezing the life out of teams that they're playing against. And at Anfield, I think it's going to be a great game to watch. I really do. But I think Liverpool, and this isn't my City hat on or anything else, no. I think they'll have too much for them, especially going forward. Firmino's in great form. Coutinho is on fire at the minute. They're scoring a lot of goals. Lallana, Jordan Henderson's been excellent for them as well. So it's going to be tough for United, but it wouldn't surprise you with Mourinho to go there, set up and nick a 1-0. I'm
going to make a case for Manchester United here, because you know what it's like. We've played in football teams that, especially when you're at home, that demand that you go forward, which means we know they want to win the ball up high, keep the pressure on United. Will that not suit Man United if they can nick the ball and sort of break on them quick the way Liverpool do?
It does, but the only thing that worries me about that is United haven't got massive amount of pace in the team, especially if they've got Ibra up there as well, you know.
And by the way, that's probably the best point he's made in 8 weeks.
Ever.
The Man United top teams always had blistering bang.
When they broke in you, but there was 3, 4 and 5 players as well, you know. Lingard's got decent pace. Martial's not really been playing. He's the only one really.
I don't even know if I would start either of them. I think he's in a position where he's got to play them.
Yep, exactly. Mata's a great player, but no real pace again.
You couldn't run away from you now.
No, exactly, exactly.
But I was just trying to make the case that Liverpool will want to go forward, so Man United can say, all right, I'm going to be cute here. You know, Mourinho's the man, and he's like, okay, go on then. My plan is we'll try and get it, but we'll need to. When we get the ball, we'll need to move the ball quickly again.
Jose Mourinho's the master at going places and getting results when it's not expected. So that's the one and only reason I'll give United a chance. But I really like the look of Liverpool this year. I think Klopp's got them playing on the front foot and some great stuff as well.
Will Wayne Rooney start?
No, I don't think he will. I think if he was going to stick with him and start him, he wouldn't have left him out the couple of games he has. Argument to that, and maybe I'm arguing with myself here, with him going in international duty, maybe not playing, it might freshen him up a little bit, so he might be thinking about that as well. And they're going to have to keep the ball at Anfield. They're going to have to go there and keep the ball, because if they keep giving it away like they have done in previous games, Liverpool will be straight at them. I'm
going to tell you, Rooney will start.
Alright.
Rooney will start. Hope I get that right.
Inside info there?
No. I don't think he can go to Manchester. I don't think he can go to Anfield not play Wayne Rooney. I know his form's not been great, but you've already talked about at least try to keep the ball and maybe being. What it needs is a cool head. What it needs is experience when you go to those places, and that's just why I think Liverpool 11-10, draw 5-2, United 13-5. This is another one that I think It could finish 4-3.
Yeah.
It's one of them, and I think maybe one of the bets on BetSafe might be over goals, target, etc., etc. United to win 3-1, I threw it in 29-1, and Liverpool to win 3-1, 14-1 on BetSafe. There's a triple chance on this game as well for Liverpool and Man United. Firmino, Lallana, or Pogba to score the first goal will be a BetSafe boosted price for you on the website. West Brom against Spurs.
After the way Spurs tore Man City apart, you can't see past them at the minute.
Odds on to win.
Odds on to win, and rightly so. I just think, look, at the start of the season, and I know we done the preview when Harry was here as well, and we spoke about Spurs being up there, but they're sort of going under the radar a little bit. Everybody's talking about United, they're talking about Chelsea, especially Liverpool and Man City at the minute, even Everton. But Spurs, for me, strengthened unbelievably well. I don't think they necessarily signed players that were better than what they had, but the thing that let them down last season, when they had some injuries, they had no like for like to go in, and that's what they've done.
I need to make a case for West Brom then. Tony Pulis is difficult to beat.
Difficult to beat, and they've had good
Especially
form
at
recently
home,
as well. Rondon's started to chip in with a few goals as well, which was the one question mark I had against them, was are they going to score enough goals? But I just think that the way Spurs played against Man City and how they've started the season, it's only an unbeaten team.
Listen, I know we're only in week 8, but if Spurs go to West Brom, and I think it'll be a tough game, having beaten City, I know they're odds on to win the game and expected to win the game. Can I think of Spurs being a genuine title contender if they follow this one up by going somewhere like West Brom and turning them over?
I think so, and I thought at the start of the season, I've not changed my mind now, that they will be right up there challenging at the end.
Brilliant. Want to go Southampton against Burnley.
Be hard to see past Southampton. I'm pleasantly surprised how they've started the season. I thought they would have struggled. There's only so many seasons you can keep losing your best players and pulling rabbits out the hat and getting results, which they've done the last couple of years, but they're doing it again. And Burnley, they're going to go there, they're going to be organised, we know what Sean's like, done unbelievably well, but I just think Southampton will have a little bit too much for them down there.
That'll be a tough one, won't it? I think Southampton probably, I like Burnley, I like Sean Dyche a lot. 40-45, draw 18-5, Southampton 3-8, certainly odds on to win the game. Brilliant stuff from Paul as usual. That was BetSafe with Alan McInally and Paul Dickov. Reminding you of our treble. McInally treble was Bournemouth, Palace and Borough. We're getting around 17-2 and 8s. And Paul's was Arsenal, Bournemouth and Stoke, which is around 4s and 7-2. And remember, this is a season-long bet. If you come here to City, you want to bet on the City game and you go for a correct score, and the game finishes in a score draw rather, BetSafe will guarantee you all season your money back. Thanks to Paul for that. Good luck for everybody for all your bets. Let's hope that sportsbook wallet is bursting after week 8 on BetSafe.